What does God look like? What do you see?
We're solar-powered biological AI.
Wait, what?
Ancient adversarial entities. I think it's the very same ones that rebelled against God and were cast out.
They were sent here to guide us in antiquity, and they took advantage of that and just masqueraded as gods. What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Greypilled podcast. Good evening, I guess. Good evening, and welcome back to the Greypilled podcast. I am your host, Jules, the Mississippi mystic, sound scientist, the Elohim etymologist. You know why I'm here. You know what we're here to do. Here for another banger of an episode. Guys, before we get started, be sure to like the stream, share it with your friends and your family at your own risk. Like I said, have a banger lined up for us tonight. We are joined by my friend and fellow occult reject, that is, Julia of the Cosmic Peach podcast. Julia, how are we doing this evening?
I'm good.
So trying to work with the soundboard. We're trying new things here on Greypilled.
I like it. I love it. I feel appreciated already. So thank you for having me.
You should. Guys, this is Julia. She's the host of the Cosmic Peach podcast. I've been meaning to get her on for a minute. We both are on the Occult Rejects panel together, so we do some shows together, but we've never, been a guest on each other's respective show. So, Julia, tell us a little bit about, for people who don't know you. I know you've been in this game for a minute now.
Yeah, actually,
you got some skin in the game.
Well, I mean, I think about it sometimes and it feels like I haven't been doing it very long. And then sometimes I feel like I've been doing it forever. But yeah, when people ask like, oh, what do you do? And I say, oh, I have a podcast. People think like it's just a hobby, something that I do for fun on the side. But I've been working at it for several years now. It definitely didn't just pop off overnight. It's been like a slow, gradual rise, but I'm really appreciative for the people who have listened to my show from the very beginning, because it's like with any conspiracy theory journey. I started off like real skeptical about everything. And then I started like discovering like Nephilim stuff. And then I talked to like Gary Wayne, and I did like the Genesis 6 conspiracy stuff. And then I got into like Dave McGowan's work in the Laurel Canyon and Program to Kill. And it's been a ride. And I feel like the people that listen to my show have kind of like went along with me on the ride. Because like at first you think like Bigfoot's just Bigfoot, and like maybe there's actually extraterrestrials and shit like that. But now I'm to the point where everything's like some type of weird Nephilim creature and hybrid creatures and some type of chimera. Yeah, basically.
Well, we can get into talking about that too. I know we had kind of talked earlier. You had some presentations, I think, that you wanted to pull up. We were going to get into Laurel Canyon, some MK Ultra stuff. So again, guys, share the show and be sure to hit that like button. But before we get started talking about anything, so you've been doing this how long, you said?
I think like 2022.
Really?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Feels like, it feels like you've been doing it a lot longer. I think we've had this discussion before.
Yeah, well, I feel like sometimes it does feel like a long time, especially when you're looking for new topics and new guests and like fun new things to cover. Since 2022, sometimes it's like I want to cover the same stuff other people are talking about, but then I don't want to sound like, I'm just riding their coattails. So I try to find like my own interesting shit to talk about. And so, yeah, I mean, sometimes it feels like a real struggle sometimes
I can't even
because
listen
I
to
want,
anyone else half the time because I'm like, dude, if I hear something and it's even remotely close to what I have to say about this subject, and then it didn't come from me,
yeah,
It didn't come from me.
yeah.
So you have to, yeah,
I
it's
think a good podcast host always like listens to other podcasts and they'll like get ideas and stuff. But I
absolutely.
wanted to be my own ideas about it,
No, and
and
tell because you're a like totally authentic person. You and Colby both, and like
thank you
you're
for that.
yeah, no, I could tell when I first met you guys, and you have a very authentic following. It
Oh,
seems
thank
an
you.
organic following. That's how it is for me, and I struggle to get past a certain amount of followers. But and I've had people tell me
Oh,
like,
yeah,
hey, I can't
same.
find you. Like I search you up, I can't find you. You have to go like you have to I guess type in the link. You gotta get the link. So I just printed some QR code stickers, guys, sending those out with sticker packs.
Oh, that's so smart.
Yes, I thought about it and I was like, you know what?
Mm-hmm.
Do
Yeah,
that.
no, that's so smart because I don't know. I don't get a lot of people say that they can't find me, but it's like um some of the like bigger shows that I've been on, I feel like really lucky to get to be a part of the show or whatever. And then afterwards, I'm like, I don't know if that was like the right topic to cover. Like I always try to like bring the heat when I go on bigger shows because I want to give them a taste of like what it would be like to listen to my show. And sometimes I get really nervous and then I'm like, oh, I fucked up. Nobody's gonna come fucking listen to my show now. I sounded like a retard the whole time. So it took a while for me to like be able to relax and just like enjoy the conversation without, am I saying this right? Am I doing this right? Am I, coming across?
I am an anxious son of a bitch.
I am
Julie, I
too.
promise.
Yeah.
I am spastic at times, probably.
Yeah, like manic. That's how I get
Oh
too.
man. Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I went on tinfoil hat 2 times, and both times I felt like I was gonna throw up the entire time. And then after I got done with the show, I was like, nobody's gonna come find my shit. Now I sound fucking stupid. I just like, I'm a nervous wreck the entire time. And yeah, but it took a while for me to just relax and not worry so much about if people come to find the show, because if they want to find it, they will. And I'm really opinionated on a lot of stuff and probably lose a
You
lot of
are.
people because of it. You know what I
Me
mean?
too. Me too.
Yeah.
I've seen it
Actually,
happen in real time. And it's just
Colby,
like, yeah.
well, I was talking to Colby this morning about coming on the show tonight, and he said he heard you on the White Rabbit podcast and that you have a interesting take on Christianity. And I was just curious what that is.
Oh man, was he referring to me talking about Christian mysticism?
Probably because he was like, you should ask him about it. And because I have my own thoughts on it too.
No.
And I feel like I lose a lot of people because of that. But I was just curious what you guys had talked about.
Well, we he was asking me a lot about when I first started podcasting, I was real big on, I had read a lot of Sitchin, right? A lot of Sitchin and Lawrence Gardner, a little bit of Michael Heiser, but I agreed more with Sitchin because I was doing research on other pantheons as well. And I was like comparing names. I have charts and everything. And like the symbols, who they were worshiped as, what their name meant, and like what it was translated to and how, I was like, well, wait a minute. All these mainly, like when you look back into like the Bible and stuff, you see all these different deities mentioned. And like most fundamentalist Christians believe that there is like a Satan, right? And I think there are many different deities trying to like fighting, for power.
Like
But
devils, like
well,
mini
devils,
devils.
yeah. Well, I mean, it means adversary,
Right.
and not necessarily fighting each other in the spiritual realm. They use other people to do their bidding here in the physical plane. But just the fact that, like, I don't know, there's so many similarities between all these ancient stories of these beings that came from heaven to earth, right? It's all translated different, ways. You have these names, the Anakim, the sons of Anak, the Anunnaki, and you see it in all these cultures, right? They have all these stories of the gods, and it could all be metaphysical and symbolic. I dive into that a lot too. I'm big into esoteric symbolism, and I think maybe people who have translated books in the past didn't understand what they were translating.
Well, do you think this might be a good segue, but do you think that our government is working with these entities? The CIA, like
Yes.
all the 3 letters, the weirdos.
I believe that these entities are actually adverse to each other. I believe there's 2 sides to them. Now, I think that they're both kind of neutral, and one leans
Really?
more towards like mysticism in the arts, and the other is more of like a warlike, you know what I mean? So you have that of like,
Yeah,
the Aesir and the
makes sense.
Vanir, or like the rustic gods, and then, the gods of war. But and you see the same in the Semitic pantheon. So, maybe they're just, there's all these aspects to these different pantheons with these different archetypes, because, they could just be characteristics of humanity, right? Described in a in this divine state. You know what I mean? Drawn up and worshipped, and I've talked about egregores and all that good stuff, and how things can be created over time.
Yeah,
But,
no, I agree, because I know NASA works with them, in my opinion. I think that they do. I think that our government is definitely tapped into some shit, and they're working with like some Babylonian rituals and shit like that. And I think, okay, like your opinion then, because this is what I think, and I could be wrong, but people talk about the Laurel Canyon, right? And they talk about how the 60s movement was like a fabricated, like it wasn't about peace and love and like all this shit that we're supposed to think, right?
Facade.
It was the facade, right? Yeah. And they were mostly military kids, not mostly, like all of them were military kids, and their dads were like, like Frank Zappa's dad worked at Edgewood Arsenal and was doing some like weird stuff for the government. And it's like, could they have used this hippie movement, quote unquote, this new sound with music and the lyrics? It was almost like it changed culture, but it's almost like they were trying to dredge something up, like ritualistically. They literally changed culture. They changed everything with the 60s. I mean, like, what do you think about that?
Well, think about, I mean, the fact that it's music, right? And everything is felt through sound resonance.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
Physically and spiritually, So yeah, I mean, I think the first time I heard you talk, I may have been on 10 foot. No, it was on Reality Czars.
Oh, cool.
And
that was, I think, Jim Carrey, right?
Yeah, it was with Nate Thomas, and I think that was when Tony was still doing the show with them. I think you were talking about Marilyn Monroe.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I worked with them a couple times, I think.
Sometime. I don't want to spoil anything.
Yeah, no, we'll save that.
Yeah. But no, I definitely think. And then when you look at all these stars their parents are implicated in the military or some kind of government agency. You know,
Absolutely.
every single one.
Well, this is what I think. If you look at music and culture before this hippie movement, right? This Laurel Canyon weirdo shit. It was like Buddy Holly, which he died pretty ritualistically, let's just say, along with
In the
like
plane.
2 other dudes. Yeah. The
Those
La
plane,
Bamba
there's
guy.
something about those plane wrecks that are
Mhm.
very ritualistic.
Oh,
I don't know who to
yeah.
talk to about it, but that's funny you bring that up. I was thinking about Skinnerd and
Leonard Skinner
Aaliyah
and Aaliyah
and like all these.
Buddy
And this was
Holly.
the thing with Aaliyah is crazy. That I mean, it was the same year she did Queen of the Damned,
Yes.
where she is clearly doing blood rituals in the movie.
Yes.
They're speaking ancient, like it's based off of ancient Sumer, like straight up. It's some love that movie, dude.
All
God, they should
fucking
make
all of
vampire
it.
movies like that again.
She was fucking Jay-Z and doing all kinds of stuff, and it's like, for me,
J-Hove.
if you look at the weird plane crashes, that could be its own episode. But like right before this big boom of the hippie culture and like love who you want to love and take birth control and just, you know, braid each other's pit hair and like just show off your vagina to the public, like whatever it was that they were doing, this free love shit.
Yeah.
Think about the culture and the music and like the general vibe of the 50s, like the 40s and the 50s.
Coming out of that, you know, that post-war era too.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
And yeah, you know, that the feeling of like, it sounds like a real good thing, right? But you had all these boomers that were real. I guess they weren't boomers at the time. They would be considered boomers now, but they were like, you know, what's this hippie queer shit? You know what I mean? Like, cut your hair, you fag.
Yeah, they
You
would
know,
call them like long hairs and shit like that. And
I love
they
your hair,
made fun of
Scott.
them.
Don't cut your hair, Scott. Sorry. It's one of my
No, I mean, it's like normal now, but like for the time, it was the Beatles who started off as like kind of bubblegummy shit like that, like the Buddy Holly stuff and like, you know,
unpopular
then-
take. Not a fan of the Beatles, but
well, I mean, there's so many stories about the Beatles and whether or not it's the real Paul and like all that shit, which I have talked about
Paul.
before. But
Paul, it's
Paul.
You can look at that as biblical as well. With the 2 Pauls in the Bible. Never mind.
Oh my God, I never even thought about that.
Bible conspiracy theories, like I said.
Well, and there's like physical evidence, like he grew 6 inches and shit like that. It's like things that you can't make up.
Which could be, you know, esoteric, right? I don't know. So you see that number 6 a lot, as well as 3. I mean, and 7 and 12, and it's how the numbers are used, right? But I think you're spot on about this stuff being a ritual, and I think this whole movement definitely could have been a ritual in itself.
I think so.
Yeah,
Because,
yeah.
I mean,
Sorry,
if
I'll shut up and let you talk.
No. I mean,
Keep interrupting.
you're good. I definitely think so. This is what I'll say. Crosby, Stills and Nash, Jim Morrison, Frank Zappa, The Byrds, Jackson Brown, Canned Heat, The Mamas and the Papas, the actors of the time, Jack Nicholson, Warren Beatty, Dennis Hopper, Peter Fonda, like all the shit. It's all military. A lot of them grew up on the same military complex as each other. And then it's like, oh, they just found each other at a bar and like they formed. No, they didn't. They literally grew up in military schools together. All their parents are military. And they hid that from the public because they're supposed to be anti-establishment, right? And peace and no war and love and all this. And like it's like your dad's like literally like Jackson Brown's dad was a part of the OSS, which was the precursor to the CIA. It's like all you fucks come from military background.
You're selling the guns to the enemy. Or your dad is selling guns to the enemy while you're out there, you know, putting flowers and the barrels.
That's the problem. And if the government, as I suspect, works with these weird entities, then the whole movement is probably, in my opinion, some type of ritualistic, because everything changed after that. I mean, Jim Morrison's dad was literally responsible for like the Tonkin Gulf incident, which started the Vietnam War. Which, by the way, the Vietnam War going on around Laurel Canyon times, big ass fucking blood ritual that didn't need to happen whatsoever. We did that shit. We started that shit. And for what? It's just, yeah. I mean, what do you think about that?
About Vietnam?
Yeah.
Well, besides the opium trade being set up through that, I mean, that's how it all, Frank Lucas, the whole, if you've seen American Gangster, but I mean, it was being supplied to him, I think, by the CIA. I mean, it's the same thing with Freeway Rick Ross, that guy too. But the Vietnam War, especially, I don't know, it just seems to me that we shouldn't be fighting any of these wars. There's not one war I don't think that we should have ever really been in. Not one.
They're all like huge blood rituals, but it was like they needed the bodies to power the ritual of what they were trying to pull off in the 60s. They needed the bodies. And, even besides that, if you look at like all the fucking people that just turned up fucking dead in the Laurel Canyon, there's like 100 people. Murders.
No shit.
Mm-hmm.
Damn.
Yeah.
That doesn't surprise me.
That's like, there's like a whole murder list. Oh, hang on.
Oh, bless them. Well, I was going to say, I mean, think about war. There's gods that are dedicated to war. So war in itself is a ritual. The entire, like the war, and then the blood, depending on where you're fighting, is it being, shed on in Vietnam, it's being shed all over the earth, right? More than buildings and, in some city. But, I definitely think there's something to that. That's actually something to look into. This is one of the topics that I've never really touched, to be quite honest with you.
Well, I mean, it's just, it goes along with everything that we talk about. I mean, there's like weird murders, weird serial killers, the Manson family, all that shit came out of the 60s. Laurel Canyon, Vietnam, all of it. It's like a weird fucking program they were running.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. So was Laurel Canyon tied into the Vietnam War?
Yeah, because it was all like hippies and like with their signs and like, we want peace and love. And oh, hang on.
You're
sorry.
Good. No,
sorry.
I told you, look. Everyone here knows, they've heard my kids, my dog, my wife, my family. It's fine. You're on Greypilled. The show's still.
He gets cantankerous when I'm talking. He wants to be a part of the show. But yeah, that's when Marilyn comes into it, because it's like she was part of the Laurel Canyon scene and part of the 60s. And I talked to people about all these weird ritualistic deaths that came out of the 60s, like movie stars, James Dean, and like a lot, like Jim Morrison.
Poor guy, man. It seemed like those guys were just nothing but a sacrifice.
Right. That's what I'm saying. If they're even dead, they could have like staged some shit too.
That.
You know what I'm saying?
There's that you have to look at. But if they are dead, Julia, then like think about how many of those. I mean, they were all probably sacrifices, right? On some level, these people, and I think these people they were so spun out on LSD and opium and even harder shit. And yes, I think they definitely knew what they were doing. I mean, what Jim Morrison called himself, the Lizard King, right?
Oh yeah, and he called everybody slaves and like whatever. And before
we didn't know how to look at it through the same lens we look at it today. If he did that shit today, guaranteed he would. I mean, I don't know. I think somebody would have gone and dragged him off the fucking stage. And, you know, I don't know. Probably not, because if you think about it, the people that go to the mainstream events, you know, the big concerts, they are in some ways slaves. I'm not going to say all of them, because some are, you know, they want to take their kids. I personally will not. After seeing the Astro World thing and you know, all these other festivals and shows where there's weird energy there, and just like I don't want my my kid to know that these people even exist. You know what I mean? Like, these people are freaks. And yeah, so I told my son he can go to a show with me or something. I don't know if it's the same.
Yeah, because he might get sacrificed in the middle of a crowd. You never know.
I mean, hey, Travis Scott, that's what I was saying, you know. And it seems like music has always in some way kind of carried on some sort of dark sacrificial rite.
Well,
you know?
before Astro World or whatever it was, there was the Altamont in Laurel Canyon with the Rolling Stones, because they threw like a free concert or whatever, and they had the Hells Angels there, and a dude was literally stabbed to death, just bled out in the middle of the crowd while everybody was jumping around and singing. And that was like, it's like I said, it's all weird and ritualistic and shit. And then, you know, the song American Pie, like Bye Bye Miss American Pie.
Yeah.
They talk about the Altamont concert in that song, about how it was a ritual and how it was for the devil and all this shit.
I mean, it doesn't surprise me.
Google the lyrics, pull them up.
Okay. Did you said you had like a presentation or something?
Yeah, I do. Hang on, just
Don what? What's his name?
McLean.
Henley. No.
Or isn't it
Don Henley.
McLean?
I thought it was Don Henley. Am I fucking... What's wrong with me? Hold on. No, that's the Eagles guy. Right?
Yeah, look up American Pie lyrics.
Oh my God. I'm sorry. Yeah, it's Don McLean. Sorry. That's on me, Julia. All right. I'm gonna pull these lyrics up. Oh, she's there. What's she doing with the baby? Oh, she's doing something with the baby. All right. I'm gonna pull these lyrics up, guys.
Sorry. Yeah.
No, you're fine.
If you go down, I think it's like the last.
I mean, this is so there's so many pop-ups on that one. Hold on, let me. Oh, there's is it on? No. Fuck. Why would you even pull that up then for me? Google? Fuck. The lyrics. I'm trying to find the lyrics, but it's just giving me Quora and Facebook. Okay. We're just going to go to Genius. There we go. But yeah. Bunch of pop-ups. That's great. All right. Share this. I mean, think about it. It's probably some of the most happy melody, you know, harmonic songs that have the darkest energy behind them. You feel me? Not in every case, but I think when on very popular songs that you know, people sing for generations, there has to be some kind of hypnotic, some kind of hypnotism that they do with people to have that happen, right? I mean, they can't. The song's not that good. Am I wrong? Julia, you good? You good? Oh. The baby. Okay, so we're going to take a look at the lyrics, guys. Or should we wait for Julia? She's dealing with the baby. I completely feel it. Let's see. Baby screaming. Well, hey. I literally got in the car and headed home and called my wife, and that's the first thing I heard was my daughter screaming because she wanted my dog to come with her, and he didn't want to. I think he may be terrified of her. I don't know. She doesn't hurt him or anything. She just chases him around. He doesn't like it. He's small. Julia is tending to her infant. God bless the little baby. We love babies. Especially, we need more white babies, I have 2 arrows. I have 2. Me and my wife have 2. We want to have another one, but we just know that we can't right now. It would just be.
Okay. So if you scroll all the way down to the bottom of this, I can show you exactly where it is. And thanks for your patience. Sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. I have small talk. It's fine. Like I said, don't worry about it. So yeah, these lyrics right here.
Everybody knows this song too. That's the crazy thing. And they like sing it, and it's just like part of the,
This
oldies everybody knows.
Right. That's what I was saying. One of those cult classics. How do they call it? A cult classic. Right?
Yeah. And
it's built around the song.
Okay, so how many times have you heard this song, and how many times have you realized he makes references to the Manson family? He makes references to like literal.
Do we want to read it?
Is this is like literally from the top?
Yeah.
Okay, keep going down. I'll show you a couple references here.
Okay, so I remember. Hold on.
And he mentions Buddy Holly's plane crash in here.
And the coat he borrowed from James Dean.
Oh, there goes the James Dean reference.
Yeah. When the jester sang for the king and queen in a coat he borrowed from James Dean.
And then, okay, keep going. Okay.
The day the music died. That's
the day the music died.
What a morbid title.
Well, yeah, the day the music died, Buddy Holly, right? Because that was like the end of an era. That was the end of the American Graffiti-esque, like holding hands and bubble gum, and then it was total debauchery after that.
Yeah. It was total.
Okay, keep scrolling. Scroll. Helter Skelter in a Summer Swelter. So that's about the Manson family, and then the Birds obviously are the Birds from the Laurel Canyon era. Keep going.
The band, right? Like the band.
Yeah,
the Birds.
And then I think the Sergeants played a marching tune. That could be a Beatles reference.
And Sergeant Pepper, who's on the cover of Sergeant Pepper?
Well, lots of people actually.
Well, I know lots of people, but you know who.
I know who. And they're standing over a fucking grave, so in the Sergeant Peppers.
I'd always just seen Crowley on there and been like, oh, they got Crowley on there, but now it's like
they have well, we can get into that in a minute, but keep scrolling.
No, I'd love to take a look at who else they got. I never even, once I saw, I was like, oh, that's all. That's the only person that matters. That's you see that,
Okay.
Here we go.
The Jack Be Nimble, Jack Be Quick. Yeah, that's the Jack Be Nimble, Jack Be Quick. That's, I want to say, Jumpin' Jack Flash. That's a Rolling Stones reference.
No,
right here it says.
Could break.
Okay, go up just a little bit.
Oh.
Yeah, so the Jack Be Nimble, Jack Be Quick, that's a Rolling Stones song. The Rolling Stones were putting on a free concert at Altamont when that guy was stabbed to death. And it says Jack Flash sat on a candlestick. They had that song, Jumpin' Jack Flash or whatever. And it says, 'cause fire is the devil's only friend. And as I watched him on the stage, my hands were clenched in fists of rage. No angel born in hell, because the Hells Angels were the security, could break that Satan spell. And as the flames climbed high into the night to
What
light
the
the
fuck?
sacrificial rite, I saw Satan laughing with delight the day the music died. Like, how
Yo.
many times have you sang that song and not known what the fuck
Yo.
that was?
Yeah.
Like,
Never.
Bye Bye Miss American Pie. Everybody knows this song. But this whole last paragraph. Yeah. It's about a dude getting literally stabbed and bled out in the middle of a Rolling Stones concert. So that's why I say, like, when you look at the Laurel Canyon era, the 60s, the Vietnam War, and all the ritualism that went on with the music, the culture. If you can't be with the one you want, be with the one you're with. Just fuck whoever, be with whoever.
Oh yeah, love the
Birth
one.
control pills were rolled out. I mean, it was just like, free love, whatever. And all of their fucking parents were in the military. I'm telling you, all of them. And like with David Crosby, his family line goes all the way back to like signers of the Declaration of Independence.
I was gonna say, you remember John Todd, the crazy schizo guy, or well, he was a meth addict who claimed he was part of the Collins family, like the elite bloodline, and then he found Christ and exposed the Illuminati, but then was like locked up. There's those tapes of him on YouTube. You ever heard of him?
No, but I know of the Collins elite family. I actually have a whole conspiracy about them.
Well, it's the show that what's the show that was based off of them? Dark Shadows was based off the family.
That's part of my theory. I'm so glad you know about that.
Okay, you need to watch me, Paranoid American, and Ani Asaru did an episode on John Todd where we go through, we listen to some of like his interview and his speech, and we go through. I have like 3 pages of notes on him that I took. It was one of the first things I ever wanted to do a deep dive on, and we finally did it. And
yeah,
so,
I mean, the Collins family, Dark Shadows. My mom
I grew up
actually
watching the
watched
old
the
Dark
show.
Shadows.
Yeah, me too.
I grew up. It would come on TMC.
Yeah.
In the mornings, and I'd wake up at like 6 a.m, and the sun would be like not up yet. So it was real eerie. And my
Why
TV
do we have the same life?
Dark Shadows would be on, and I would just sit there and love it. Love this feeling of being scared, and just, oh man. And
oh my God, I loved it. So my mom loved it. We watched it all the time. But when they came out with the Tim Burton one, of course, it's got Johnny Depp playing Barnabas and like whatever. But they made it into a comedy, which I was cool with because it was funny.
Cool
but
I think they could have done it justice with the drama.
Yeah.
Definitely a horror drama.
They based it in like the Laurel Canyon era too.
Yeah.
If you think about it. And all the soundtrack is Laurel Canyon music. Like fucking,
was that programming, or was that like done on purpose?
I think so. That's what I'm saying. It's about this Collins elite bloodline and all this shit, right? And the vampire. It's got fucking Johnny Depp playing the main, and
Johnny
the whole
Depp,
soundtrack is Laurel Canyon.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if most people don't know, he is I think a very high-ranking wizard in whatever coven or initiate
100
he is a part of. I think he is and has been for some time. That's why he's in so many movies. But
100.
What I was saying was John Collins, whatever he called himself. Like I said, the guy was kind of schizo because he had been on meth, but apparently like he has this whole story, and it's crazy. His story is, you should definitely.
Oh, I'll check it out for sure.
Yeah, he runs into David Crosby from Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young, and he asked him, "Hey, so do y'all still do the ritual when you put the master on, when you put it all, like when you do the final product?" And he's like, "Yeah." And he's asked him all these questions, and he's like, so he asked him something. He goes, "Yes." He basically tells him, you have to be an initiated witch or wizard to be a part of Hollywood,
Fabulous.
entertainment industry, and that's I think that I mean that we know how many mystery schools exist and how many different types of magic there are and practitioner, how many things people can practice and how many deities they can worship, right? Like people don't understand it's not all to the same deity. I mean some in some cases, but so yeah, I definitely think there is some. Now that's interesting that you bring up, and that's so funny that it's always the 70s vibe that gets brought back, right?
Every time.
In the 90s, I guess it's a generational
because the punk shit, the Nirvana shit, it's Laurel Canyon 2.0. Okay, people need to understand that is they ran game on us in the 60s and 70s, but they ran the same game with the grunge weird punk stuff. Like all of that is, I want to say they've ran game on us like multiple times throughout different generations. Like the first one was maybe Laurel Canyon, and then it was like grunge, and then it was like my generation with all the boy bands and like the Britney Spearses and like the Christina Aguileras and stuff like that.
Absolutely.
It's the same program. It's just like repeated multiple times throughout.
Yeah, I grew up playing. I talk about it all the time. I know people. I'm beating a dead horse. He's dead and gone. Now I'm beating the horse ghost. But I played drums growing up in hardcore and a few hardcore bands, punk, hardcore, metal, whatever you want to call it. It was very like obscure genres of underground DIY music. It's something I've always been into. Both. I was a rapper at one point too, Julia. Very dark time in my life. Me and my wife both. But so it seems to me now that the punk rock scene was a psyop.
It was.
And most of those guys are fags.
Oh,
because
sure.
When the COVID thing happened, they were all licking the boot.
Oh,
That had been on their damn neck their entire life, that they have been raging against, like, the rage for the machine now or whatever. I'm pretty sure Sam Tripoli had a shirt that said that. Just calling it out, because I mean, it's but when you think about it, it's like, was that set up to be like that, to make all these people, be rebellious towards their parents, and then now they're cutting their dicks off, and
oh, they're doing all kinds of stuff. They're supporting like the jabs, and like something that I just recently was talking to my husband about, because I was listening to the Ramones, and he was like, I can't even listen to the Ramones. They have like a Pfizer commercial. And so it's like another one that really bothered me was, I love 90s country. I'm a 90s country girl all the way. And Dolly Parton, all of those shitheads, they had vaccine songs, and like they were promoting the shit, and it bothered me. And it's like, you can never look at them the same now. And
Dolly Parton had a vaccine song.
Yeah, she did. She redid the Jolene, and she said vaccine. Yeah.
No.
So that's what I'm saying is, like, you can't, there's nothing sacred anymore. Not even Dolly. And I fucking love Dolly.
Oh, I love Dolly.
I love it all, Yeah,
my wife loves Dolly, dude. My daughter doesn't even know who Dolly is and has a damn Dolly Parton shirt.
I have a Holly Dolly Christmas setup with Dolly's face and like a little Santa hat, and like, it's just, it sucks because you can't enjoy anything anymore. It's all, and I think even like part of the satanic panic, it was all a program, because the music that was coming out at the time, the murders, the weird stuff with like the West Memphis 3, all that. My husband and I have talked about that before, because obviously, for those who don't know, he also is a conspiracy theorist. Has a conspiracy theory
Shout out Colby.
But yeah, we're just two weirdos in love. But
That's awesome.
he thinks
That's how
the
me and
same
my wife
thing.
are.
Yeah, you have to find
Yeah.
someone who can match your crazy sometimes,
Definitely.
especially in 2025.
Yeah.
And to raise
I couldn't
kids,
imagine
right?
dating now. I'd be probably celibate. Well, that's a lie.
Right.
But I would it's slippery slope now. I feel I'm truly, I don't want to say scared, but like, kind of like for my son, I'm like, he already has a girlfriend, and her parents didn't know until recently, but I think she may be older than him. I don't know.
Well, hopefully she's cool.
She's in his grade though. I don't know,
I mean,
I don't know.
There's enough conspiracy theorists out there that are having kids. I think there could be hope for the future, but we'll have to start like a dating app for them so they can find each other, because we're all spread out, right?
Yeah.
they're gonna be homeschooled weirdos on a conspiracy theory dating site somewhere in the near future.
That's a great idea. We should I don't know.
We could capitalize on that
we
shit.
should do that, Julia.
I mean, I'm bouncing my baby right now. I don't think he's going to be dating anytime soon, but I think for your kids and like the kids of
arranged marriages in the conspiracy community. I've already talked with Restore Christendom, the Nephilim murder crew. God bless the Parecas. I think they may have betrothed their daughter to my son. I don't know. So
he's a
good kid. He can mow the yard and he can change the oil in a Jeep. So
that's all you need.
Yeah. He's a good kid. A little rough around the edges sometimes. He has a mouth on him.
That's all right. He's opinionated.
It's very much like me. When I and when your parents say like you need to be nice to me because your kids will treat you, they're absolutely fucking right. So if there's anybody watching right now, if I have any God forbid I have any teenage fans, be nice to your parents, listen to them because they know what's best for you, unless they are telling you that you are the opposite gender.
Unless they're trying to stab you with heavy metal vaccines.
That too. Maybe distance.
Cut your penis off.
Well, yeah. But anyway, let's get back to
Well, so the whole thing like with that song and shit like that is that there was so many like weird sacrifices and shit going on around the 60s. And I think it's continued on to today. It just looks different. Like Amy Winehouse and like some shit like that. You can still find them if you look for them. But the 60s was just rampant with that shit. And one of the weirdest suicides that I can't believe people still think is a suicide came from the 60s, which was Marilyn Monroe. How people still think that's a genuine suicide after all this time, I will never fucking understand.
So can you break down what was like they said happened and then what you found really happened?
So she was discovered supposedly working in a factory during World War II, but her backstory is all hazy because she grew up in like an orphanage or some shit like that. And I think they look for kids in orphanages. I think they look for like broken people and people that are easily manipulated to turn them into these mega stars, use them in programs, and then later they become like weird sacrificial lambs. But Marilyn checks all those boxes. Like, had no family, already was fucked up in the head, was desperate for attention, willing to do anything for a successful career. I mean, she literally checks all those boxes. And they changed her name, they changed her face, they bleached her hair, they did all of like the weird sex kitten stuff to her. And she ends up hanging out with like politicians. She's fucking John F. Kennedy and his brother. Okay, some people don't realize that she was fucking both of them. And the police department even knew about it. They had some kind of weird Marilyn Monroe file, and it was documented in there that she was fucking both of them, and that it was some type of national security folder, because she was also fucking this guy that was a part of the Soviet Union or something like that, a Soviet spy. His name was Frederick Field. And so they had this file on her. She was fucking a Chicago mafia boss named Sam Giancana. So she was fucking the mob and our president and some Soviet Union guy. And they had to keep tabs on her because she was doing some weird sex kitten stuff and obviously being used as an asset in some way. And they needed to keep track of her. So the U.S. government and separately the mob had her house and her phone tapped. So they heard all of her phone calls and any conversation that went in the house. So not only were the mob keeping tabs on her, the U.S. government was. So she was getting double tapped, literally. Double tapped by the president and his brother, double tapped by the mob and the government, literally getting train ran on her from all directions. Her phone's tapped, her house is bugged. Place, even like her friends' houses that she would like frequently go and spend time, their houses were all bugged. And so they were keeping a really close eye on her. And she pulled this stunt at the president's birthday where everybody knows this. She wore like a completely transparent see-through dress saying happy birthday to the president. She was actually uninvited from his birthday party. And she was like, well, fuck you. I'm Marilyn Monroe. I'm going to show up anyways. Not only did she show up, she showed up in a transparent dress. You could see her whole ass and vagina hanging out. And she was hanging all over. Well, that's a power move if I ever saw one.
Absolutely.
It's like, we disinvited you from the party. And she's like, fuck you. Not only am I coming, I'm going to show up naked, basically. And I'm going to sing to the president. So she pulled that little stunt. And it was like a month later, something like that, she shows up dead. Now, they say that she committed suicide. This is my problem, and this is what I'll start with for anybody who's going to argue with me about this, because there is no argument, really. There's probably 20, 30 Marilyn Monroe documentaries out there that people can tell me to watch. Like, oh, look how sad she was. Look how depressed she was. Look, she had a horrible life. Oh, she had a bunch of miscarriages and she just could never get over it. That's why she killed herself. That's fine. And I'm sure Netflix and Hulu and Amazon Prime and HBO Max would love for you to believe that Marilyn was just a severely depressed pillhead who just couldn't take one more fucking undercover operation, and she just had to end it. Whatever. That's what they want you to believe. The forensic evidence, not my opinion. My opinion would be, I think she didn't kill herself. This is different. This is forensic evidence. This is not an opinion. She couldn't have killed herself. So,
right.
That's different. That's different from me saying, I believe she might have been like a sacrificial lamb. That's an opinion. The evidence is they found that she had 60 to 70 Nimbutol in her system and 19 to 20 chloral hydrate tablets in her system. So let's just break that down. The amount of Nimbutol and chloral hydrate found in her system, particularly her liver, would suggest that she swallowed 60 to 70 Nimbutol, which is a sleeping pill, and 19 to 20 chloral hydrate tablets. Fine. That's a massive overdose. And I don't know anybody who can dry swallow 60 to 70 Nimbutal and 19 to 20 chloral hydrate tablets. And I'll tell you why she would have had to dry swallow them in a minute. But congrats for her if she was able to do that. The problem is when they cracked her stomach open, there were no tablets found in her stomach. No trace of a tablet, no fragments of a tablet, no refractive crystals, which is what pills break down as, as they're digested, they turn into these refractive crystals. So no tablets, no refractive crystals. And Nimbutal has like this weird yellow dye, I guess, that coats it. It's like a candy coated motherfucker. And there was none of that. So how then, if she killed herself by swallowing pills, which is what they want you to believe, how is it then that she has no trace whatsoever of any tablets in her stomach, period?
Well, someone in the chat is saying that they shoved them up her ass.
They
her
did. And bone. I don't know a lot of people who commit suicide by liquefying Nimbutal and chloral hydrate and then squirting it up their ass. I don't know a lot of people who commit suicide that way. If you look at all the newspapers, they took a picture of her face down, completely naked, with a sheet barely covering her, and some weirdo pointing at a bottle of pills next to the nightstand. And the headline was like, Marilyn dead, swallowed pills. They made sure to emphasize that she swallowed pills and pointed at the pill bottle for this photo shoot or whatever. And they kept like driving it home that Marilyn committed suicide by swallowing pills. And the first officer on the scene, his name was Sergeant Jack Clemens. He said when he arrived at the scene, there was already a house full of people there. Before they ever called the cops, they called like her psychiatrist and her primary care provider and her publicist, and like her maid was there, and there was just a house full of people. And he said there was no pill bottle any fucking where when he got there. There's no pill bottle in the room. There was no pill bottle on the nightstand. There was no fucking pills anywhere. There was no drinking glass anywhere. And actually, Marilyn was renovating her house at the time, and they had shut the water off to her house. So if this is what we're supposed to believe, and she dry swallowed 60 to 70 Nimbutal and 19 to 20 chloral hydrate, she would have had to dry swallow them, and there was no drinking glass in the room, and there was no bottle of pills in the room, and there's no tablets in her stomach when they do the autopsy. So you explain to me how that fucking makes sense at all for a classic suicide case. And right before like the newspaper people and all like the tabloid whatever, before they got there, Sergeant Jack Clemens left the room to interview the housekeeper, and when he got back, there goes a drinking glass and a bottle of pills next to the nightstand right before it's fucking photo shoot time. So, I mean, literally, and this guy wasn't allowed to testify. He was
how convenient.
Disallowed to testify.
Kind of like that guy from January 6th, right? Ray Epps. You remember that guy that had the MAGA hat on? It was telling everyone to go in the Capitol, and then, everyone was calling him a Fed, and he kind of like.
Right. I mean, if you have something, basically. If you have anything worthwhile to say at all, you're going to be disallowed from fucking saying anything. Because this sergeant, he said in his experience, when he has responded to a murder scene, crime scene, death scene, whatever, and the person has overdosed themselves on, like, orally on sedative drugs or whatever, your body goes into like evacuation mode halfway through digesting the amount of,
You start shitting everywhere.
you start puking everywhere.
Nice.
Because your body's like trying to keep you alive. So like halfway through digesting that overload of medication you just took, you start fucking projectile vomiting everywhere. And the sergeant that responded to the 911 call or whatever for Marilyn, he said it was the cleanest death scene I've, especially if this is supposed to be a suicide by oral overdose.
Mm-hmm.
There's no vomit anywhere. The sheets look freshly cleaned. It was like when he got there, the housekeeper was on, she said like her third load of laundry or something like that. So the sheets look freshly laundered. There's no vomit anywhere. There's nothing on her face. Nothing. I mean, when your body starts evacuating this shit, you almost have to wonder if part of your death isn't aspiration. Because you're just.
Did anyone see her that night?
Robert Kennedy saw her that morning.
Okay, that's where I was getting to.
Yeah.
What do you think the Kennedy brothers, besides double teaming her?
It's interesting.
What do you think they are? I mean, what knowledge did they give to her? Because I think it was definitely things that they told her that other people figured out she knew, and they were like, "Hey,
definitely,
she has to go."
Definitely.
And if you get all uppity about it, you got to go, and your brother.
Yeah, the fact that the Kennedy brothers died not long after Marilyn, a lot of people want to go, "Oh, it was the Kennedy brothers that got Marilyn killed." I don't think so, because they got killed too. It's actually a third party that wanted all of them dead.
Lyndon B. Johnson?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
And he's a mass murderer, if people don't know that.
Absolutely.
There was this guy, I think his name was Mac something or other, that used to be like his hitman. And he murdered this dude. He sent this, Lyndon B. Johnson sent his hitman, his name is Mac something, to this dude's house that had discovered he was laundering money. He blasted him in the chest with a shotgun like 8 times. And then they had it ruled a suicide. So I don't know how in the world, after you've loaded and blasted yourself in the chest with a shotgun once,
you get up and do
how
it
you get back up, and then you 7 more times blast your own self in the chest, and all while having he had like a chloroform rag over his face. So he chloroformed himself and then blasted his own chest out with a shotgun 8 times, according to Lyndon B. Johnson. Like the guy's a scumbag. The guy's literally a mass murderer, for those who don't know. So who then is responsible for Marilyn's death if it wasn't the Kennedy brothers? Because I think that they were set up to make it look like it was the Kennedy brothers. John F. Kennedy had really pissed off the mob in more ways than one. He said that, that he got all of their support when it was like time to like run for office and shit. And then when he got in
brother
there,
after him.
Yeah, he basically like
he made his brother attorney
them.
General, and then he went after them, and
he went after them after they fucking helped him out. So say what
not
you
to mention
will,
his
but
dad, Joe Kennedy, was a bootlegger.
Sure.
And
I
the
mean,
Kennedy bloodline, Illuminati bloodline, allegedly, right?
Yeah, and he's supposedly gay. Their dad had like some weird guy that was just like lived with them at the White House and shit like that, or wherever they were living. But because Robert visited Marilyn that morning, the neighbors reported them fighting, and hearing them screaming at each other. And then he left and she died that night. And a lot of people think, oh, it had to be the Kennedy brothers. I mean, she was fighting with them. She was doing whatever. Her house was tapped by the government and the mob. I think that the mob set it up to look like it was the Kennedy brothers, but they had actually made a habit out of killing people by deadly enemas. That was like one of their things. That was like their go-to thing if they wanted like an untraceable type of death. Not to stab them or shoot them or whatever. They would give people deadly enemas, and that's what Marilyn got. Her colon was purple. It was swollen. It was twice the size that it should have been. She had bruises on the back of both of her legs, like she had been held down. She had bruises on her butt cheeks. And so I don't know a lot of people who commit suicide by holding their own self down. Like how was she a contortionist too? She gave herself bruises on the backs of her legs and her butt cheeks. And she also then like shoved a huge dildo up her ass, but took it out right before she died. Like why? Like the forensic evidence does not suggest that this was a suicide whatsoever. And she had called her hair girl like 30 minutes before she died and was like, hey girl, just want to let you know I'm going to make it to my appointment tomorrow morning. Looking forward to it, whatever. And that was like the last phone call she made. And it's like, why would you, like, in the throes of murdering yourself, why are you going to call and like confirm your hair appointment for the next day and shit like that? Like, none of it made sense whatsoever. She also had something called, oh, what is it? Where you die so fast, cyanosis. You die so rapidly that like your blood vessels burst. And if you take like a sedative overdose, you die real slow as your body digests the medications, and then you go through like the agonal phases where you're vomiting and like shitting or whatever. None of that was clear in Marilyn's death. Actually, it was the opposite, where if you like took a massive overdose, like if you like injected yourself with a massive overdose, you would have cyanosis.
I was going to say, shout out another fellow reject of ours, Robbie Marks. He says injections behind the knees and underarm. So, I mean, that, that lines. I mean, that's probably how most people, when it's made to look a certain way, it's the opposite, right?
It is the opposite. I mean, and they're so slick about it too. But if you know what you're looking for, obviously, like with the autopsy, it's not, there's no indication that she killed herself whatsoever. She had lividity markings so lividity is when your blood settles after you die. Every dead body is going to have lividity markings, but what the lividity markings in Marilyn's case showed is that she died face down in what's called the soldier's position, with her arms and legs down and at the sides, with her head hanging off the bed. And then at some point after her death, she was rolled over onto her back for a considerable period of time. They say probably 4 hours. And then at some point before Sergeant Clemens arrived, she was rolled back into the face down death position. So again, not my opinion. This is the forensic. Her fucking body showed lividity markings, showed that she had been moved several times after. How many fucking dead people do you know that just rolls around? Like, are you kidding me?
Don't they
Like,
get bloated and like I don't know.
I
don't
mean,
know.
it's like she killed herself. She committed suicide. She took all these pills. And then after she died, she rolled around in the bed for a couple hours. Like, none of this is making sense for the story.
So,
And,
well,
go ahead.
as I was gonna ask you, we have the king kill ritual that we've seen with JFK and like Franz Ferdinand and like all these other people. Is there? I wonder if there's some kind of I don't know, feminine occult, like to some kind of
I will
goddess,
tell you
maybe
that
with
I
like
think that there is, and this is where I kind of talk about Eyes Wide Shut and like the weird rituals they have with women and like being naked. And she was a sex symbol. She was known for being gorgeous, beautiful, could have whoever she wanted, literally the president. And in the death photos, she's naked, no makeup on, her hair's all matted to her head. She looks horrible. She looks almost like unrecognizable.
Yeah.
And I do think it was like a humiliation ritual for her. And the address in the house where she was murdered was 605 Helena Drive or something like that. Let me find it.
And Clockwise says the Whore of Babylon archetype. Yeah, but you could also put Princess Diana under the same boat, you know, but and she wasn't really
in the same boat.
But she wasn't. She was more of like a you know, and this is just a, what would it be, like a euphemism or metaphor, because Mother Teresa, we know now, was a terrible person, but like a Mother Teresa type figure, you know. But
yeah, I mean, so she definitely was like the Whore of Babylon or whatever. She was in these weird sex kitten operations. And so the address was 12305 Fifth Helena Drive. And the little girl in Eyes Wide Shut that gets sacrificed at the end, in my opinion, because she's being led off by two dudes at the end of the movie. And her mom is Alice, right? And I don't know if you've paid much attention to that movie, but it's like it's all about like weird ritualistic shit. But the little girl in Eyes Wide Shut, her name is Helena. And I do think that there is like they could have really murdered her anywhere.
Well, they took her at the end, right? They
did. The little girl, they took her at the very end of the movie.
It's never
in the toy
stated.
Shop.
You know, no one, if you don't know what to look for, like I'm sure when they first saw that in theater, saw that and were just like, you know, just like, oh, they're just in a toy store.
Well, the crazy part about that too is like, if you look in the toy store as they're walking down the aisles, there's a gentleman's prefer blondes Marilyn Monroe Barbie. And it's like right there in like the side of the aisle. And, you know, you talk about Princess Diana. The song Candle in the Wind is Elton John. He talks a lot about writing his songs in which language. He wrote Candle in the Wind for Marilyn. And then when Princess Diana died, he rewrote the lyrics and sang it at her funeral. So it's all connected. It's all ritualistic. I know Diana didn't die in the 60s, but Marilyn did. And so did, you know, JFK. And it's like this weird, like people getting stabbed to death at concerts, hippie movement, Vietnam War, Marilyn Monroe's suicide, like all this. It's like, what a time to be alive, really. In the 1960s, I'm surprised anyone even made it the fuck out. And
yeah, I mean, you could say that. I'm sure not many people made it out mentally, you know.
Right, and like that's got to play a part in like the way that, like, how we've ended up here, because it was so successful that they just kept repeating it.
Well, I think there was a veil that was opened up during that time. And then a veil a little later on with 9/11, and you know, they're slowly completing these smaller, like all these smaller sacrificial rites and these little rituals here and there for this much larger ritual.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. And the thing too is like the guy who did Marilyn's autopsy, he couldn't believe his eyes basically when he saw all this, because he was like, oh, she didn't kill herself. And he went to like retest all the samples of her organs, and somebody had fucking taken them all and they were gone. They had disappeared. And some guy from like the Pentagon took the file with all the shit, and he never saw it again. And her body went missing for like 4 hours or something like that before her funeral. And
I mean,
you know, it's like literally for anybody who pays like 30 minutes of attention to Marilyn's suicide, quote unquote, will find out that they've been running game on us, suiciding people for forever long. I mean, like, that's why I don't know
hear
about
this information and still think anything different than she was,
because they come out with
ritualistically
the
sacrificed by the
Netflix
cabal.
documentaries.
Fucking Netflix.
Because she was so sad and she was depressed. You know, sometimes I feel a little blue. Okay. Sometimes I'm having a bad day. I'm not even Marilyn Monroe. I can't imagine the type of life she had or how fucked up she was or how sad she was. But she didn't kill herself.
Right.
Like, you can be depressed and not kill yourself. Like, those two things can exist at the same time. You can be Marilyn Monroe. You can be depressed. You can have a shitty life and still not want to kill yourself. I mean, she was getting help. Like, she was having like trouble sleeping and shit like that. But all of her psychiatrist sessions were taped. And when you listen back to those tapes, she was actually really hopeful for the future. She was working on like a bunch of like new projects and movies and all this shit. And she was, you know, it's like people who are hopeful for the future, who confirm their hair appointment for the next morning. Like, these aren't usually the people that suicide themselves.
End up taking their own lives. Right. Yeah. And it's so funny. You see that happen so much in that industry, right? And it's because, you know, maybe some of the people were really, you know, sad and trying to escape demons that they really couldn't, you know, shake.
Okay, yeah, but you could say that about Kurt Cobain, and he didn't kill himself either.
Right. When you look at it, it's like, well, wait a minute. I mean, that could be true, but the evidence, it's like your eyes aren't lying to you. You know what I mean?
He pulled the trigger with his fucking shoe on his fucking, like, the way that he would have had to have killed himself, he would have had to use his toe to pull and right before he shot himself, he also went downstairs and slashed his own tires. Yeah. And like, it's like, okay, like I said, you can be a tortured soul. Okay. You can be a terribly miserable person, but still get murdered.
Right.
Amy Winehouse, Brittany Murphy, Kurt Cobain, Marilyn Monroe. People need to look into this shit. They did not kill themselves.
You could say it was ritualistic, but at the same time, it could have been because they were trying to speak up about something, you know,
or it was time to pay the fiddler. Who fucking knows?
Yeah, they could have known. Like I said earlier, they could have known that they were going to be offered up for a sacrifice one day, you know.
Like, they didn't know when their time was going to come, but they knew that it was going to come around eventually. But they use music and movies and actresses and whatever. We fall in love with these people. We idolize these people, like they say golden idols or whatever. And then they murder them in front of us. And then they say like they killed themselves and how sad it is. And, it's all part of the programming. It's all part of like the trauma-based mind control. All of the people that you idolize as a kid, you grow up and realize that their parents were in the military and this was all fake and staged. And it's It's a shame, really. It's
It's sad. Yeah, no,
yeah.
it's actually very sad. And it's like, where are these people's souls at when this happens? Like, where are they spiritually?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's kind of like what you were saying at the beginning of the episode, and that's why I asked you. I do think at some level, Hollywood industry, like the entertainment industry, the government, they're NASA, they're all in cahoots with spiritualism that we don't understand. There is a war for your soul,
Yeah.
and we're victims of it. Even someone like you and I who try to like understand this shit, we still get caught up in it, right? Because we all have music and movies and shit that we like to like listen to and watch and whatever. And it's like if it wasn't successful, they wouldn't do it. If they weren't getting results, they would stop doing it. Laurel Canyon music is great and
Mhm.
everybody loves it. It sounds wonderful. Nirvana was great. Everybody loved it. It was wonderful. Disney Channel, everybody loved it. It was wonderful. I mean, like they literally draw us in with like magic. Oh, sorry.
You're good. You're good. No, well, speaking of magic, yeah, no, and that's one main component behind it, I think, and it's been like this since antiquity.
Oh yeah, 100%.
There's been the
With
rulers,
this old black magic.
yeah, there's been the rulers and the elite class, and people think that they're at the top. What they don't know is that the people really pulling the strings are the priests, the king priests, so to say, of these ancient cults, these ancient mystery cults, and they are the ones that communicate with the gods or with their god, with their certain deity, whoever they worship. And
well, it's just like in the Bible, Psalms means songs, and David danced before the Lord and sing a new song, and like there's so many references to like dance and singing and vibration, and
there's references to, there's stuff that aligns with the Druidic mystery schools. And people may not know this, but Jacob, when he wrestles with God, he is going through an initiation. Moses was doing magic in the desert. He was out there talking to multiple entities, and they were,
and he was performing magic tricks and shit
by fire,
splitting
by
seas
fire at night, by clouds at day. And he came from Kemet, where alchemy was created. I have a theory that he was an alchemist. He's been portrayed with the alchemical horns coming from his his light. Some people will go, why is Moses portrayed with horns? And it's like, yeah, well, why was he holding up the caduceus?
And he was raised as a prince of Egypt.
He was raised in the mystery schools.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. He was raised in like the main castle, or the main palace.
He was royalty.
So all the elite, all the royalty and the elite were all involved in the mysteries, and they themselves would, they didn't, like I said, they didn't communicate with the gods. That was for the priests. They had the say in everything. That's if if the God was not there physically, manifesting or whatever, that's another story. Because once in Egypt, the gods walked among men. So but that's
because
another story.
they don't want you to think that the hieroglyphics could be literal. But they probably are.
Yeah, well, I think they could be literal and symbolic. The as above, so below, the microcosm, macrocosm, you know. I definitely think what happens in other realms manifest here for sure.
Yeah. I think this is about all the time I'm gonna have with little stinker here.
I know. I was about to say we're probably going to get out of here in a minute, guys. Julia, this was fun, and we need to get together sometime, some other time, maybe on a weekend when I haven't worked all day. I always give myself a hard time, and I'm like, I never think that I do a good job during the week, but then my audience tells me differently. So,
I think it was a great
I'm pretty hard on
conversation.
myself. No, it was.
It was a blast. I love talking about this stuff.
Well, and there's so much more that we could get into. So if you want to go ahead and tell people where they can find you, and you can go ahead and get out of here if you need to. Just tell people where they can find you, and if there's anything that you got coming soon. Yeah.
I am a new mom, so I'm doing the best I can every day. But yeah, Cosmic Beach Podcast, wherever you listen to podcasts.
We have it pulled up, and I'll put it in the description. So, and I'll have to get you back on again. I need to introduce you to my wife, and maybe you can go on her podcast. She barely has time to do it, but she's trying. She'll be trying here soon to do a few episodes. So I don't know, trying to hook her up with some people. So
I would love to have her on my show or go on her show, whichever.
yeah, for sure. And we could definitely do that. Me and you could do a swap cast. You have Colby come, and we could. Hey, I'm sure I'll see you soon on an Occult Rejects show. But I appreciate you coming and hanging out with me tonight. I'm glad you finally booked. I'm glad I finally made a Calendly so you could, because before that my scheduling was dog shit. But anyway, thank you, Julia. Guys, go subscribe to Julia's channel, and go to her Patreon. Go to her Patreon. Support her baby, her beautiful little baby, who got to join us for the episode tonight as well. Julia, my plugs are fairly long, so if you want to stay for a minute, you can. Guys, you can find me on Twitter at Greypilled Pod, Instagram Greypilled _podcast, Rumble, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, all that good stuff. Ordered new stickers. Got a couple Twin Peaks stickers. Thank you, Subliminal. Subliminal, if y'all don't know, is a big part of Greypilled. Him, Season of the Rat. These guys help me out with the stuff that I try to provide for y'all. So if you want to support the show, you can go over to patreon.com/Greypilled podcast. If you're a Rumble person, you go to Locals. I need to try to post all the links to Locals. I'm not the best at doing that sometimes, but it's the best way to support the show. You get the early release on Elohim etymologies. You get the esoteric book reviews after we stream them live. We do watch parties over there. You get the Discord link, and you get a sticker pack. I'm sure I've mentioned that several times. We got sticker packs on deck, and you may get a random Occult Reject sticker in there, or Paranoid American sticker. Who knows? Maybe a conspiracy card or something. But yeah, guys, excuse me. Don't know what just happened to my voice. Yeah, I don't know. I think, let's see. Next show is Saturday morning esoteric book review. We are doing, if Headless Giant can join us, we'll be doing the Golden Ass Part 2. We'll be doing a couple excerpts from the book, his favorite book. And then I'm going on Doc Brown's podcast, I think, later that evening. I also have another swapcast set up with Bennett from Broadcasting Seeds, and then Cult of Conspiracy going on with Jacob and Raven. So that should be fun. But yeah, no, nothing else in store. We're going to watch Holy Mountain soon, guys. But besides that, be sure to like the stream, and y'all have a good Good rest of your week. And I'm sure I'll see y'all this weekend, guys. Stay Greypilled. Later.
Pull that shit up,
Well, I'm sure there's a lot of factors there, right?
See, old wives' tales were like, you get demon possessed by that cat, and really it's a damn brainworm.
Well, that's probably also why they
And
told
that's
you not to
science
eat
fiction.
pork.
That's a real brainworm programming you, like you were saying earlier. I looked at it through. I didn't know that.